I don't feel that I need to be called my name before the dance because it's a higher topic than my being. I kind of have got rid away of this lead and follow concept. I made it intention and response. Intention and response is like a high five. If I raise my hand to give you a high five, you give me a high five. Both are coming into balance with each other. If one overpass, the other one gets hurt, right? Salsa as well, or bachata or kizomba, it came from a culture. So which is why you being fat, thin, tall, wide, this, that, the other has nothing to do. Is very, very incorporating of everybody rather than you fat people cannot do, you thin people can do, you tall people cannot do, short people can do better. None of that.
Just listening to the concept of it is making me so excited, Before that, congratulations on completing 8 years of HLT. That is great.
Man, you've done your research. I like it.
I do it.
Let's talk about dance, shall we?
First of all, welcome to Shape Your Sunday, the dancers podcast that aims to be the voice of dancers. So that is what I'm aiming to be. But let's see. Hope for the best. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Not too bad. Thank you. Health-wise, good. Studio-wise, progressing. Friends wise, all healthy. So which is nice. And thank God Corona has taken a break from destruction.
Right?
So which is great. Yeah.
That is the best part of I guess 2022.
Yeah, tell me about it. Otherwise, it was a bit of a story for every industry and every field. And no matter if you're an artist or an employee or a businessman, it was kind of I'm not saying that it's completely gone, but of course, I'm very afraid now for sure, right? So yes, I'm twice as more careful because I don't want to go through what went. And if a mask is essentially protecting me from going through the same thing again, so I might as well wear that mask rather than sacrifice it and give the opportunity to go back into that state of affairs.
Exactly. And I guess wearing a mask has become second nature to us after we having practices for 2 years, straight almost. So it's good.
Of course, it's like a garment you put on now. So
exactly.
I leave the house, I wear a mask and I'm out. It's the same thing. Like if I do my hair, I put a mask on. It's just it's same part thing. Of every day. I brush my teeth. I don't forget to eat and I don't forget to wear a mask when I go out. So
correct. Your keys, your helmet, your wallet, and your mask. That's
totally. Yeah.
Your name is not actually Salsawala. So how did the name Salsawala came along?
There are two parts to this actually. One is the fact that when I kind of got introduced to this style, I was kind of so taken aback from what just happened to me, and I was my lifestyle was a little bit too salsa, people say, and I kind of was listening to this music, I was dancing it, I was trying to sort of share and get other people hooked onto it. And people almost got annoyed to the fact that, whenever you meet Hitesh is constantly about salsa and it's just annoying. And they started calling me Salsawala from that perspective. They're like, "Arey," people used to save my number on their phone. How you say electrician wala, plumber. So that way I became Salsawala because people are like, "Iska naam Salsawala rakh dete." And that was one thing. And then, the reason I stuck along with this and I took it a little bit more seriously is because I kind of feel that the dance is above my name. So right. I don't feel that I need to be called my name before the dance because it's a higher topic than my being. And the fact that I do salsa is just, the dance accepting me. So I'm a Salsawala like everybody else is, and I don't like to put Hitesh before Salsawala. I'm a Salsawala, which is basically somebody who dances salsa. Like a chaiwala always is a chaiwala, and his or her name comes after, like chaiwala Sonu, chaiwala Raju, or whatever, right? So the concept of tea or the art style or the work is kind of higher,
right?
And we are essentially just. I'm grateful that it's kind of still allowed me to stay attached to it. So that's another reason why I kept it Salsawala, saying that I'm just one, I'm not special, and you dance salsa, you're Salsawala. So I don't want to sort of put my name and say I'm Hitesh Salsawala, but I am Salsawala. And then my name is Hitesh Teckchandani, which is great.
Yeah. So of course, people try to tease you with it, but rather it became your, I guess, your strength. You made it your strength, and it worked in your favor, rather, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, if you kind of put your kind of like when you try to make something your lifestyle, the
Yeah,
best representation is what happens to your life around you.
exactly.
So if I surround myself with a certain art form or a certain style, the only proof whether it has actually have you actually been able to make it part of your life is when your people around you like, "Arey yaar, pura din
Uh,
salsa karta rehta hai, ya pura din chai ke bare baat karta rehta hai." Suddenly you become a coffee connoisseur. Suddenly you're only talking about hip hop. Suddenly you're only talking about jazz music. So essentially what happens is your circle, whoever they are, friends, family, they kind of start telling you like, what's happening. So that's when you know that you've actually made it part of your lifestyle. It's like,
correct,
yeah.
correct. Yeah, yeah, correct. Amazing, amazing. So great. So I have a few questions for you, like some particular questions to ask to you. But before that, I would like it to be a free flowing conversation. So could you tell us a little bit about what exactly, like Latin dance or salsa in India or in Kolkata where you teach? What is like how is the culture, and what should rather I would rephrase it to, if somebody is a beginner, what should be the best way to learn salsa or any Latin form of dancing?
These are multiple questions altogether. I mean, I'm gonna voice what comes to my mind, and
Yeah,
then you
sure,
can
sure.
filter out what works for you or not.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No
I
worries.
have these things that I do on social media called the Gyan, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
my first Gyan that I put out there was how salsa or any of these social dances are like a language. My first question to everybody is, do you want to do it? Or are you being told to do it, or is someone doing it, that's why you want to copy them? So what is the reason? Why are you seeking salsa classes or bachata classes or kizomba classes or tango classes, jive classes, swing classes, lindy hop? All these are social dance styles, right? And social dance style, according to me, is like a language. And if I want to learn Spanish, then that's the first thing. And then once they kind of have that sorted, then it's I mean, and then there is this unfortunate gender bias, right? There is a lead and there is a follow,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
which I think, I mean, I'm not complaining about our culture, but pan world, the
Yeah.
male are the leaders and female are the followers. But I kind of have this opinion that um, dance never classified a step according to a gender, caste, creed, religion, and anything, right?
Right. Yeah.
So just because I was born and I didn't have a choice, right, to be born as male or female, or any sort of creation, I was just presented with what I have.
Right.
Then I should have the freedom of movement, of choice, and not sort of so. And within my school, at least, I kind of break this barrier of male will lead and female will follow.
Right.
So in my classes, first of all, I don't call them lead and follow. I call them intention and response. It's
Oh,
not lead and
wow.
follow, because lead and follow is often misunderstood with power.
Yes,
And
exactly.
people think I'm a leader, I'm more powerful than a follower. Followers are weaker. So I kind of have got rid away of this lead and follow concept. I made it intention and response. Intention response is like a high five. If I raise my hand to give you a high five, you give me a high five. Both are coming into balance with each other. If one overpass, the other one get hurt, right? So
Right.
intention response is a balance of a balance of effort rather than a more strength thing. It's like a handshake, right? So
Right.
which is why like my school, kind of my teachings is kind of based on intention response, and breaks away from the gender bias and calls it like intention response. So which means most of my students are training, actually all of my students are training to be intentions and to response. And they don't need to kind of wait for boys to come to a party or girls to come to a party.
Right. Yeah.
It takes two to dance, and the two
Correct.
of them there, one can be intention, the other one response, and vice versa. This concept is something which I'm finding, I won't say difficult, but I have to be very careful when I'm pushing across to students, because they come with an idea that I have to do this role because that's what they see on TV. And
Correct.
I'm
Right.
not saying what has been happening is incorrect. I'm just saying this is my take on it.
Yeah.
And they come with a certain perception that, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I'm expected to do this. But when they go home, they also realize that they have a social presence, right? So if like the guys start to do the girls thing, then there is a social pressure in them. But it's important for me to balance that out in class. And then when they talk about it, they talk about it normally rather than seem like they're defending themselves. So, I mean, in order to be able to push that concept, I'm not saying it'd be easier in another country, but as far as my classes are here concerned, it's getting easier by the day because my students are talking that language. And eventually, what's going to happen is when you walk in, your expectation is to learn 2 movements and not just one, especially when you're in the same class, right? So why should I not listen to one and listen to the other? So if you're all listening to every information, so you can learn both, right? Why only learn one?
Correct.
So that's getting easier by the day, but definitely I've had one-on-one conversations. So I do a lot of one-on-one chats with my students to find out what they're thinking. If they're having any difficulty in class, are they uncomfortable with somebody? They kind of how they measure their progress, where do they see themselves in 6 months? I have a set of questions which go across to them to be able to understand, what I am saying is just one way, or is it actually happening 2 way? To be able to, come to that conclusion saying, oh, this works, this doesn't work, because I'm evolving as a teacher, learning from my students every day as well. And when I say this, I mean it. It's not just a sentence. Absolutely. I want to learn from them. So it's new to the city because on screen there is something else. Right. And they come with the idea of learning what is on screen. But when they come in, they are introduced to the same concept, but slightly differently, which is fun. And at the same time, may not be very business friendly, but I'm okay with that. I mean, as far as I'm confident about what I'm saying, I'm sure I'll be able to make people understand that the gender was never part of dance. And it never said that if you are Hindu, you can do this. If you're, Japanese, you can do this. Or if you're Muslim, you can do that. Or if you are darker than me, or if you're a different gender to me. Dan said, I'm here. No, you can do what you want. You want to do it as a boy, as a girl, as a Hindu, as a Muslim, as a whatever you want. I'm here. So I try to connect everybody to that concept, which is freedom that dance gives you, because it's to express, not to impress, right? And people often forget that, we're so lost in doing hairstyles and perfume. It's all to impress, but dance was always to express. I want to kind of reconnect them to the freedom dance gives us, rather than, shackles of impressing and like, oh, ye kya bolega, wo kya bolega, hum kya sun rahe. Let that go, and it's fine. And especially another thing that I kind of encourage or tell dancers is when we're learning a cultural dance style like Bollywood or salsa, it's very adaptive of any body type, because it's not lead and follow with intention response. I mean, a cultural development is a mass development as a dance style. Or I mean, Bollywood. My mom dances Bollywood. I'm sure your parents. Everybody has some flavor of Bollywood, and Bollywood never said you can't be this body type and then you do that. Correct. It's the dance developed from the culture, so which is why it's adaptive to every body type. Similarly, in salsa as well, or bachata or kizomba, it came from a culture. So which is why you being fat, thin, tall, wide, this, that, the other has nothing to do. It's very, very, como se dice, very, very incorporating of everybody, rather than you fat people cannot do, you thin people can do, you tall people cannot do, short people can do better. None of that. Because it's matters. A cultural development.
Correct. Amazing. That was such a golden response, I would say. Even because the concept of removing the terms, because of course, intentionally or unintentionally, the words symbolize some things, leader and follower. It has some other meaning in the outside the dance world. So people might confuse it with that, but that is an amazing thing that you're doing. Wow. I loved I loved what you said. Amazing.
Thank you.
So kudos, and I hope that this catches on, and I hope that your students start teaching their students this, and this becomes a thing actually.
There is no reason why it wouldn't catch on, because it makes sense.
Exactly, it makes sense. So much sense.
I mean, in the sense that it's if we anything that you do with the right intention,
Right.
always will generate a good response. It could be
Absolutely.
dance, it could be conversation, it could be life. Like if my
Absolutely.
intentions are clean when I'm sitting opposite you, when I came late, I apologize, because I was genuinely apologetic of the fact that I was late. My intention to say sorry, which is why your response was equally friendly, because I wasn't trying to mislead you saying, oh, this
Exactly.
and that,
Yeah. There was no manipulation involved. It was all truth.
exactly,
It was
exactly.
all white. Amazing. And to be like a personal story on this, like I'm not a Latin dancer or a salsa dancer. I mostly do hip hop, and tutting is my dance style. So but because you're a dancer, you have interest in everything. Right? So because you're a dancer, you have interest in everything, and as a dancer, I also had interest in learning, at least learning the pure foundation or some steps or something about all dances. So salsa was a bit interested me. So as I said, Soma Subedi. So Somadi was my first teacher, and she taught me a few basics of salsa, and like the footwork and how what is a lead, what is a follower and stuff. And she told me the same thing, that a leader and a follower are just terms. It does not mean that a boy has to lead or a girl has to follow. Just like she was the leader and I was the follower when I was learning. So it is so true. And kudos to you that you brought up some new words that are so apt. And yes, amazing. And for going from one amazing thing to another, can you tell us something that you came up with a word called Songbola? What is that?
So Songbola essentially is something that I kind of discovered a few years ago, when the idea comes from the game of housey, bingo, and tambola. And housey is great, tambola is the same thing, and bingo is the same thing. And somebody calls out numbers, and you have a sheet in front of you with numbers on it.
Right.
And if the number that is called out is on your sheet, you strike it
cross
off, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. And I thought that's great, but it's been a few years and nobody's touched it, and everything is getting updated. Like Monopoly's got updated,
right?
Our phones have got updated, laptops, televisions, speakers, fans, everything. And housey, bingo, tambola is still very traditional. And I thought, what can I do, without upsetting anybody and the gods of housey, and how do I figure this? So I mean, I don't know, because I used to be a DJ back in the day of a variety of genres of music, and today I only play Latin music. I thought maybe I can incorporate my learning with the game, and then that's when a small change. I replaced numbers with short clips of songs. I mean, by no chance am I singing anything. No. What I do is essentially I play a short clip of a song, and on the ticket is the name of the song rather than the number. So if suppose I was playing a salsa track called Abre que voy, on the track ticket it will say Abre que voy, and you cut it out. And I used that first with whatever knowledge of music I had, and then I started using that within my school to be able to teach people salsa, bachata, kizomba music, because what you're doing now, you're listening to a song and you're identifying the name of it. So Nelson Fritas is playing, Tito Puente is playing, Willie Colon is playing, and you have to look for it and you cut it out. So now you've drawn an attention to the music and to the lyric and to actual the text of it, right? And then people are like, oh, yeah, I've heard Mark Anthony, for example, Valo La Pena, and you're like, oh, really? And they hear it in Songbola. So it was used, and not only for, it is still used. It's not only used for Bollywood music. I've done lots of private parties making celebrations of 80-year-olds and 70-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 15-year-olds with variety of music, which is like, because it's music, right? It's got no boundaries. It can be French, Latin, Polish, Hindi, whatever, Punjabi, whatever it is, right? So I've kind of used this to kind of add, like, I have this thing about, I really like old people. Like, I just feel that they don't explore after a certain age.
Right.
So my favorite audience in Songbola is, or my favorite thing to do is like connect the older audience to their younger days. So I will play like Mere Sapano Ki Rani and Nile Nile Ambar and Mera Naam Chin Chin Chu and Bar Bar Dekho, and there's my mom singing and dancing away, because it directly connects her to the day where she went and watched Chinatown in the movie hall, or she was a Rajesh Khanna fan, or a Vinod Khanna fan, or a Devanand fan, etc.
Right.
And that is absolutely bliss, because you have like, I mean, I've done so many, and I just seek each other blessings, and I'm happy to be the clown. I'm happy to be dancing like this and going crazy, as long as my energy goes into them and they can have a bit of a party as well.
Correct.
So multi-purpose use of it. One is celebration, one is bringing joy to the lives of slightly senior people who are maybe right now a little bit restricted, even after Corona, even more restricted, right? Because everyone's taking care of them, not letting them go out. They're like, Abhi mat jao, don't do this, Corona, things that will happen to you. So they're trapped and they're getting worse and worse and worse. So this was another thing. And then of course was to be able to educate my students with Salsa Bachata Kizomba music. So it's like a multi use sort of a concept, Songbola, which is what I came up with in 2014. And yeah, we're still going.
Amazing. Yeah. Even just listening to the concept of it is making me so excited, I literally I was jumping on my seat while you were talking. So it's so amazing. It's like, of course, you have gamified the whole experience. It's a game, it's a fun game. At the same time, it can also be used for education. So that is so amazing. And the type of education that is required for you to be a dancer, you need to understand music, you need to know the music. And amazing. Wow. Because I only knew the fun part of it. Okay, that I knew that it's bingo and it's combined with song and music, like something like that. So I didn't know the education aspect of it. I'm just stunned. Wow, amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I've done some during the pandemic. I used to do songbolas I used to have Latin songbolas, and I used to have Bollywood songbolas. Latin songbolas, amazing. We had like over 150 people tune in from all over the city, all over the country, listening to music, cutting out, winning prizes. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic. It was really, really good fun.
Crazy. So do you, like, of course you said that you host some parties. So do you still host like public parties, not just private ones, that people can join for this? Like one of the activities is this, and other activities that you do usually?
So Songbola, I do like a bi-weekly thing. So every 2 weeks I do a Songbola, which is open to everybody to join in. It's a song. You can like go on my website, salsawalastudios.com/join, and get tickets for yourself. Of course, if you're paying for the tickets, you obviously win cash prizes as well. And the next one is on the 12th of June, and the next one is on 26th. Basically, every 2 weeks in the evening on a Sunday, 7 p.m., I try and do a Songbola to be able to add some joy to people's life. And everybody may not want to organize a private party, etc., but they still want to come and listen to music, right, in a slightly different format. And so I do that every 2 weeks. So it's good fun.
Amazing. In your studio itself, or do you do it somewhere else?
No, so this every 2 weeks feature is an online thing. So I'm broadcasting from my studio, but it's accessible for anyone and everyone all across the world. And we have, touch wood, we have participants from Malaysia, from Singapore, from the US, of course, from India. So it's a nice bunch all come together, and they make new friends, virtual friends, and they're like, "Arey, kitna din nahi mile. Thanks to Songbola, we've been friends," and it's good. It's good fun.
Great, amazing. So anybody listening to this who would like to join this amazing activity, you know what to do. Go to salsawala.com/join and book your tickets. Oh wow, amazing.
That's it. Salsawalastudios.com/join.
Salsawalastudios.com/join. Okay. Coming from one fun activity to the other. Hot Latin Thursdays. I'll just bring this up and let you speak.
My God. Okay. Wow. HLT is the place to be.
And of course, congratulations. Before that, congratulations on completing 8 years of HLT. That is great.
Man, you've done your research. I like it.
I do it.
Pressure on me now. Oh no. But Hot Latin Thursday essentially started in 2014, and it was an every Thursday affair. And the idea was to give Kolkata a regular weekly party. So the kind of the kind of contract I had with the venues was more regularity rather than a second priority. So I said, if you
Right.
want to work with me, I will do this, but you have to give me guarantee that I'm going to be here every week. And if not, I need at least 2 months notice. And
Wow.
which essentially was very well followed all the way till the pandemic, of course.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm quite proudly, I say, like over the span of like these 8 years, obviously out of which 2.5 was pandemic, we've done almost 300 parties. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And we used to try and make every party a slightly different from the other, because salsa, bachata, kizomba, yes, the music changes, great. I try and I try and mix up the music extra, but we did a lot of themes as well. So when I say themes, people were dressing up in pirate, people are dressing up like
Wow.
in ulta clothes, people have done like same up, same down, people have done like Mawali style, they've done like Harry Potter, they've done like Marvel, they've done black and white, like you can name it. Like if you ever want a theme, go to the Hotline Thursday page and you see all of them. You will see like over like 100 themes that people have been part of. So
Yeah.
that essentially was an additional aspect to HLT. And then, it has had guest artists, whoever I know, I invite them to, be, come and be part of the community and showcase them to what we are, and, sort of make them both meet. We've had performances, we've had guest DJs. HLT is on a Thursday, which is the opening night to a weekend.
To go
So
weekend.
if I did a festival, exactly. So if I did a festival, which I used to do, Kolkata Salsa Weekend, Kizomba in Kolkata. So Thursday would be the opening party, which would be HLT, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the weekend as well.
Wow.
So yeah, that's essentially HLT in a nutshell.
Amazing. And it is so good. So if I want to join for HLT, if I want to attend it, so what's the process of it?
So the process is just turning up, because there is no registration, there is no you don't need to get in touch with me before. You just need to look for where the party is happening and you turn up. And all HLTs have a monotonous, very boring flow, which means it'll start with a workshop, which I personally try and teach 99%, and then it will flow into music till 11:30 or 12, whatever the time limit allows us. So even if you are brand new to the community of Latin dancing, Afro Latin dancing, if you come to the party well in advance, you will do the workshop and you will definitely learn something before you can obviously apply those moves in the party. So the format always, and it will always be, it will be a workshop followed by dancing. And if there are, like the last party we did at Effing Good, had about 60 people at the workshop. But having said that, those are good days. I've also seen days where there have been like 10 people for the workshop. No problem. The workshop must go on. You have the intention to learn, I will teach you for sure. So that's essentially, everyone's welcome, basically. You just need to turn up.
Amazing. And I'm so like, what do I say? Inspired and everything by the commitment that you have for the artwork and everything that you're doing for it. It's really amazing. Also, it's like I'll tell you something about this podcast in general. So like I started this podcast with an intention of spreading knowledge about, of course, dancing, but a theme that I followed for a lot of episodes was how to make money. If somebody is actually opting dance as a career, then how can somebody make money out of it? And so if you could share some light that could help somebody, just a few lines of your experience or whatever you would like to say, an advice.
Unfortunately, I think the question is incorrect. I'll tell you why. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How to make money from dance? You've put money before dance. Number one. Second, you have to kind of like, it's great that you have a vision that you want to make dance a career, dance a profession. Mentally, I always put dance before the activity, which is why Salsawala comes before Hitesh. Dance comes before career, dance comes before profession, dance comes before money. I always request people, if they want to make a career out of anything, be it accountancy, be it mathematics, be it chemistry, be it mechanical, whatever it is, you have to study that for that long.
Yeah.
And you have to have the same time commitment. So today, if you see a doctor, A doctor is still updating the amount of effort they put into making that degree happen, that MBBS happen, or a CA or a CS. There is an amazing journey of education and academic requirement or learning and training that they've done before they start to be able to pass this information on or receive some sort of remuneration for their knowledge that they have, right?
Right, yeah.
So similarly, I mean, I did an accountancy and finance. I did a BCom degree before I did a dance degree. So I've done 2 undergrads, but I kind of felt really important after doing all the training that I did during my school when I was working. I was trying to get classes from anyone and everyone. At that time, I didn't know I would like to do this full time.
Right.
And then things got more. I started getting appreciation. I started working with Shamak. I had some insight from there. Then obviously, once I finished school, I had this. Obviously, you have to do a degree. So because I was commerce background, I went into BCom and I did BCom. Whilst BCom was happening, something else was happening. DJing was happening for me because I mean, as from childhood, my parents have been really like musically inclined. So they're listening to a lot of music. So I just had knowledge, and somebody said to me, "You have the knowledge. Why don't you share it? It's a machine. Use the machine, and the knowledge is what's priceless." So I was like, "Okay, why not?" So I started doing the DJing, but something was pulling me back to dance. And then I gave up DJing, and then I was like, okay, I will start training in dance, which is great. I started training, and then I realized that, you know what, if I want to really take this seriously, I measure this as the same as if I wanted to do a degree in BCom, and then I would do a master's, and I land myself a job, right? So I did the same thing. I moved away because the discipline that I wanted to kind of work in was not offered within India. Very helpful and supportive of my parents to like, you know, what is this guy? He wants to go abroad and like, you know, do a dance degree. But they were not surprised. They were very supportive. And I'm indebted to them for the rest of my life and after for allowing me to do that. Of course, when I say allowing, they have more experience of career and visibility, but at the same time, trust in me, right? So I went and educated myself, and I came back with, you know, not only the movement side of dance, which is what a lot of people look at dance as, but there is a lot more in dance than just the, I call like 99% of dance is stillness and 1% is all the monkeying around that you see everybody do. I'm just saying it's one of those things that I kind of believe in, that there is a lot of academic information, a lot of facilitation, a lot of management that goes into what you bring out to a society, a culture, how you carry it. So if you kind of, you know, it's the same thing when you do an accounts degree, you have to learn several things before you start becoming a CA. So what I would suggest is get trained, get educated, develop the academic background as well. And then you will see that you realize that you have so much information to share that is going to work. And a lot of people don't dedicate the same hours in a full-time job in dancing. For example, I have told you, Akash, you have 40 hours in a week and you've got to do something about the knowledge that you have. Because when you work at HSBC or you work at DBS or whatever, they make you work 40 hours a week, which is a full-time hour, right? So you put 40 hours in dance after education yourself, you'll see it's a career immediately. But people want to do 2 hours in a week. And still they want to establish and say, it's a career, it's not making me enough money. How do I make money? No, put your heart, soul, time into it. There is no way it's going to backfire.
Amazing. That is so true. That is so true. Amazing. And even like the concept of educating yourself first and then getting into it and then choosing it as a career and then choosing it as something that makes you money. That is what I also try to preach because I also am a firm believer of that. And thank you so much. This was amazing. This was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for coming. I loved every part of it, every second of it. I don't think I'm going to cut anything throughout, just the beginning and the end, nothing else, because it was amazing. Perfect.
But I mean, I'm glad that, you know, you're taking this step, and I appreciate that you found the time and you bared with me to listen to all of this. And you know, I'm more than happy to be on the show, and I really you know, I respect that you're also creating awareness about different thought processes within the dance community, right? So you spoke with Soma, and you've spoken with me, and of course you've spoken to other professionals, and everyone's got their own kind of path. But the aim, of course, for us all, which is obviously to be able to provide our best to the community and sort of make sure that everyone's learning and everyone's we're doing it correctly. So it's nice, and I appreciate that you're taking this step. It's really nice.
Thank you so much. And on closing note, if you're still here listening to this, please, if you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow, leave a review. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, comment below your thoughts, and all the Instagram handles of Salsawala Studios, HLT, and everything, and even mine is in the description. So if you liked any of it or all of it, give all of us a good follow. And if you want to send a positive message, that is always appreciated. So thank you so much.
Let's talk about dance, shall we?